have you ever, actually stopped to consider the difference between simply being happy and, well, truly being grateful?
Yeah, it sounds like a trick question, honestly.
It really does. But today we are doing a deep dive into the architecture of biblical gratitude using some recent study notes for July 2026, alongside the ancient text of Psalm 107.
Right, and I mean, we usually just use those words interchangeably, don't we? Like happiness, joy, gratitude, we just sort of lump them all together as just feeling good.
Exactly.
But the sources we're looking at today argue that treating them as the same thing, it completely misses the point of what true Thanksgiving actually is.
So let's unpack this with an analogy from the notes that really stuck with me. They use this example of a pet dog. You hold up a leash and the dog just loses its mind with joy.
Yeah, or you toss it a treat and it's just pure ecstasy.
Right. But is that dog actually grateful? And honestly, we often treat gratitude exactly like that dog's joy. We act as if it's just this automatic reflex to getting a treat from the universe.
Yeah, like you find $20 on the sidewalk and you say you're so grateful.
Exactly. But really, I'm just happy I found $20.
Right. The notes draw a really sharp line there. The dog is undoubtedly experiencing joy, but that joy is, well, it's purely an instinctive response to a positive stimulus.
Yeah, it's just biology.
Exactly. Gratitude, on the other hand, cannot be fully explained by mere instinct. It requires rational reflection.
Rational reflection, so like a cognitive process.
Yeah, you have to actively identify the cause of the good thing and deeply consider why Thanksgiving is owed. It's a choice, not just a biological reflex.
Well, if gratitude requires us to rationally identify why we are thankful, that gets much harder to do when you're suffering.
Oh, absolutely.
And that tension is exactly what the ancient text of Psalm 107 tackles. It lays out these extreme scenarios of divine deliverance.
Yeah, like rescuing hungry, thirsty wanderers in a desert wasteland whose very souls are fainting within them.
Right, that's intense.
And it goes even further, It talks about prisoners sitting in absolute darkness, bound in iron chains because of their own rebellion.
Wow.
And then there are these foolish people who made terrible choices, suffered severe affliction, and ended up right at the gates of death. But in every case, they cry out and they are rescued.
And after every single rescue, the text repeats this refrain, right? Let them thank the Lord for his steadfast love, for his wondrous works.
Exactly. It's commanding that reflective gratitude we just talked about.
Okay, wait, here's where I have to push back a little bit.
Sure, go ahead.
Because getting rescued from starvation or a dark prison, those are objectively amazing things. Isn't the natural, immediate reaction to that just pure instinctive joy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the dog getting a treat, but magnified 1,000,000 times, Why does the text insist on adding this complex layer of gratitude?
Well, this is the core thesis of these study notes.
Yeah.
You're right, the immediate reaction is joy. But joy is entirely reliant on your circumstances.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Right. If you're starving and you get food, you are joyful. But what happens tomorrow if you are hungry again?
Well, the joy is completely gone.
Exactly. The notes emphasize that biblical gratitude is fundamentally different. It is a confession of faith rooted in God's enduring goodness, not just in good outcomes.
So it's not just about the circumstances improving.
Right. The text says to give thanks to the Lord for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. It doesn't say give thanks purely because your circumstances improved.
But how does a person actually execute that cognitive process? If you're the person bound in iron chains or just going through a terrible season of life, how do you bypass that overwhelming instinct of despair to access rational gratitude?
Well, the mechanism the text points to is remembrance and perspective. To bypass despair, you have to anchor your mind to something outside your immediate painful situation.
Right, too.
By actively recalling past deliverance or, focusing on the unchanging character of the divine, this idea that this goodness endures forever, you bridge the gap.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, you are making a rational choice to acknowledge a broader reality that exists above your current pain.
Because if gratitude is based on that constant nature rather than the fluctuating nature of our circumstances, then you can, theoretically be grateful even when things are terrible.
Exactly. The source material explicitly notes that while we naturally give thanks when we rejoice, the text actually teaches that believers can give thanks even in sorrow.
Wow, that's a huge shift in perspective.
It really is, and that's the ultimate challenge of the source material. It forces us to ask, are we just waiting around for circumstances to make us happy, or are we actively practicing gratitude based on something permanent?
Right. It means True thanksgiving isn't just an emotional reaction you just wait to wash over you. It's an active, rational choice to trust in enduring goodness.
Beautifully said.
Which leaves you, the listener, with this thought to ponder. If gratitude is a rational skill rather than a fleeting emotion, how might actively practicing it during your most frustrating, mundane, or difficult days fundamentally rewrite the way you experience your own life story?
Yeah, that's the real question.
Are you just waiting for the universe to toss you a treat so you can feel happy? Or are you ready to do the hard work of truly being grateful?